everyone, I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com, and today's topic is the Texas yogurt shop murder. So the question that was sent to me, Lynn, can you look at the Texas yogurt shop murders? What do you see? Thank you. And just a real quick synopsis of what happened that night. When you go in, you can go in and read the details and read a lot more on it, but just for the question, I wanted to put it out there so you had some idea of what you were actually focusing on or what the topic was. So this is quoted text: shortly before midnight on Friday, December 6, 1991, a patrolling Austin police officer noticed a fire coming from, I can't believe it's yogurt shop, and reported it to his dispatcher. After it was extinguished, firefighters discovered 4 nude bodies. Each had been shot in the head, execution style, with a .22 lead bullet. Sarah's hands had been bound behind her with a pair of panties, and she'd also been gagged and assaulted. Jennifer was not bound, but her hands were behind her back. Eliza had been gagged, and her hands were also behind her back. All 3 had been severely charred and shot in the back of the head. And on the blog itself, there are a couple links that you can go in and you can read a whole lot more about it, about these girls, and more about that night. So when I focused on this, I understand that 4 boys confessed to this, but it was later proven that they had nothing to do with this. DNA samples, they didn't match. So there were things that didn't coincide. So that was really strange. Earlier in that night when this happened, there were 2 men lurking around. They were spotted. There were witnesses that saw them. And I get that they're the ones that had something to do with this and were responsible for the sexual assault, robbing, and the fire. The real question is the motive, because everything behind this was just so weird. And there was not a lot stolen. I think they mentioned $540 in cash. So what's the real reason to do something so horrific? You wouldn't do it for that little amount of money. Just everything about this was weird. So when I was thinking about it, and it came to me that the shop owner was in trouble. He was either in some kind of like a gambling or a drug debt, and the owner couldn't pay it, and I hear the owner devising a plan to repay the debt to avoid being killed himself. So he was trying to think outside the box of what he could do, legal or not legal, but he needed to rectify this debt that he owed. I see him working with the people that he owed money to, and he basically said that if you come in, make it look like a robbery and arson, he could collect insurance money and even pay them extra for their troubles. He also hired these 4 boys to make a false confession and paid them accordingly. So he was trying to throw everything off the trail here. The 2 men that entered the shop, the ones working with the owner, were very shady. They felt very dark. Once it was closing time, they had their opportunity. They made their move. The intent was never to kill the girls or assault them, but the girls started screaming and fighting back. I hear one of the guys tie one girl up and say, "I'm going to take this basically out of you," and he began to attack her. This was a horrific event for the girls, but they did fight hard against their attackers. Things were broken, and I got that the 2 men left with some severe cuts. I was curious if anyone checked the ER that night for lacerations, because it felt like one of the guys at least got injured really bad throughout all of this. I get to solve this case, check with the owner, question him with the tough questions, like really press him hard. And the 4 that admitted to this also know who really did it, because they were contracted to admit a confession of something they didn't even do. And if anyone can ID the men lurking and the guys that were in there drinking the soda at 11:30 at night, that's also a great place to start. So I feel like there's leads there and there's clues there. It's like breadcrumbs leading to the end. I have a hard time understanding what happened or what the disconnect was. So I will leave you all with that. Thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like my video, share my channel, so I can keep this content coming. I really love all you guys out there, and don't forget to join me on Telegram. We have some great chats and discussions there as well. So all in all, I will leave you with all of that information. Again, I'm Lynn with Psychic Focus at psychicfocus.blogspot.com. Thank you. Bye.